Hi guys, Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench on a wet and windy Sunday afternoon, Halloween today. Just literally made the video on the update, so hope you enjoyed that one. So now I want to do a video about inbox reviews. Now, I speak to a lot of people. Most recently was Danny down at Joe's Motor Pool, who's a fan of my channel apparently. Hi Danny. And he was saying he doesn't watch, he was saying, I don't think anybody ever made a kit of a GPW, did they? And I said, well yeah, Bronco did. I made an inbox review of the kit. It's down here, I don't know if you can see it in the light, I don't think you can. But there's two of them, I've got both of them. And he said, oh, I don't tend to watch inbox reviews, I like to see models being built. And I hear that from a lot of people say that. And personally, I like inbox reviews because they show you what you're getting for your money. The downside is you can walk away from an inbox review saying I think this is the best kit in the world, like I did with that Sukhoi Su-33, and I said this is probably the best 48 scale aircraft kit in the world, and then I've watched a couple of people building it and it looks like it's a complete nightmare. So I don't know, I mean what you get in the box for your money, it shows you, an inbox review shows you what you're getting for your money, but it doesn't necessarily tell you that it's a very good kit. So today I want to put a video together and I'm going to pick on Zucchimura. I'm a fan of Zucchimura. I love the kits. They have a lot of, as you'll see in the review, they have a lot of hidden detail, but it's almost like educational and it's all there. Okay. They've got a big habit of making lots and lots of sub-assemblies and little removable panels and stuff, just like Kitty Hawk did. And this is where it gets really funny, because you hear a lot of people saying Kitty Hawk are rubbish because they make fuselages out of 47 pieces when they could have used 2 halves. They have all these openable panels that never fit. And that's exactly what Zucchimura do. I don't hear people complaining about them too much, so maybe I'm looking at the wrong press or whatever. But yeah, inbox reviews, I like them. But they do really not show you how the model goes together. So today I'm going to use 2 examples. We've got the TA-152, okay, which is a beautiful aircraft. It's huge. So we'll look at that one. And I've also got this one over here, which is, I know, a firm favourite of everyone's. This beauty here, which is absolutely gorgeous, the Yoo-Hoo, the Owl, HE219, Heinkel 219. Now this kit was also available in 32nd scale from Revell. I have 2 of them. The Revell kit has a lot of issues, shape issues and stuff. For example, if you've got the Revell kit, go take a look. You've got the fuel filler flaps on top of the engines, or the oil filler flaps, should I say, on top of the engines. They're the wrong way around. So basically they would always be made so that they hinge backwards. They've got them the wrong way around, so they actually hinge forward. So if they left them unlatched, the wind would get under them and blow them open. So yeah, there's lots and lots of little issues with that thing, and the engines are actually too low. They need to be lifted up. So yeah, I've done some work on that as well. So anyway, we'll use those 2 kits today as an example of what I'm trying to talk about, and then we'll go a little bit further. Okay, so here we go then. So we can look at this now. We can see I've got on the bench here, I've got the Zucchimura 132nd scale Super Wing Series number 6, and this is the Heinkel 219A0 Yoo-Hoo. So this will not be a full inbox review of this kit. We'll have a quick look, but it won't be a full inbox review. If you want to see a full inbox review of all the plastic and everything, if you go over to Mitko Nikov's channel, which is DN Models, he's actually done a full review of this and shown you all the sprues and everything. But I'm just basically using this to put out there the way I do these reviews, and basically sort of, you know, if you haven't seen my videos before, what I do, what I show you and why. So basically we're all interested in how things look and how the box looks. By the way, we've got the glare on here. That's because the light is actually reflecting off the box because it's glossy. A lot of people said, why don't I get a filter for the camera? I've looked up online, a lot of people say with the Sony ZV-1, which is what I use, you need to be really careful, especially as I've got the camera hanging and it's looking down. The lens motors, when you start adding filters and that to the lens, it can actually put strain on those motors. So I'm not going to bother with anything. I'm actually wondering if this camera that I've bought is the right one for the job, but we shall see. So it may be up for sale very soon if anyone's interested. And I've also got the remote for it, which is also a tripod. You can see there. So anyway, Basically, box, we look at the box, you can see we've got lovely box art and everything. That's important to a lot of people. Then we look at what we've got around the box, and we can see images of the model all built up and everything. And you can see here, this image here in particular, they're showing you the image of the model with all the skin removed. You can see that this is Zucchimura's thing. They include a lot of hidden detail, but if you want to do a crash diorama, it's making your life a lot easier. The other thing to note here is Zucchimura are showing you actual models actually built, not CAD models. If you remember, I talked about that with the border models Lancaster. They look at CAD models a lot, and then when you actually look at a CAD model and look next to it, you see the actual plastic physical parts. You can see they are a lot different. So basically, yeah, you got all the stuff on here. We look at all the lingo going around the box, and then we can flip the box over and we can see on here, again, let's get the right way round. You can see on here we have got actual photos of the actual model, and you can see there's the cockpit beautifully built, the engine's beautifully built, undercarriage there, and then you've got the gun array for the bottom. Okay, the other thing we're going to concentrate a lot on with the inbox reviews is the packaging. So we have a look inside the box, we break this massive lid off, and straight away you can see in this one we've got a box within a box. So really nice touch there. And then we can open this box, and up inside here then we've got all our sprues and everything all bagged up. You can see I've got some of the optional extras. I bought these on eBay, they were really cheap, and these are the brass barrels from Zucchimura. They're actually made by Master, but Zucchimura tend to have the best companies make their aftermarket. Like they get Eduard to do their etch. So this is the Cockpit Set. I actually bought this kit second on eBay, and that was in the box. So I was really chuffed about that. So you can see this is actually made by Eduard. It doesn't say Eduard on here, but you can tell that it's Eduard. So you got the instructions in there, and obviously the photo etch there. So there's some extras there. I've also got in here a couple of resin pilots, and I've also got these resin lights, landing lights and stuff. So I don't know what that's all about. I don't know if that was an extra. If you know, then tell me, because I don't think in Mitko's review, I don't think he had that. So I don't know if that's an extra as well. So maybe there's another extra I've got. And then we've got lovely decal sheet, and then we've got the this is talking about these extras I've got here. You can see they're not included in the actual instructions. And then we've got the beautiful instructions. So what I would normally do then is go through the instruction manual and talk about just how wonderful this model is, and how there's lots and lots of stuff in there. Okay, so there we go. And then we look through all the sprues and obviously everything, and it's great. Inbox reviews, wonderful. It shows you what you're getting for your money. For example, if I've got a kit here which is full of short shots, the riveting detail is bad, everything is molded really soft, that kind of thing, that's what you're looking for. It's like with the Airfix Vulcan, we could see in there that all the shrinkage and everything, but then you watched in my build how I struggle with that and everything. So it's great to say this is an amazing kit, but if it goes together like crap, then it's no good. It's like the border models 1/35 scale 109. I've done a review of that kit, and it looks absolutely gorgeous in the box. The moulding is beautiful, the detail and everything. But then you look at it again, it's got no harnesses, it's got no decals for the instrument panel, got no dials or anything in there. So it's kind of, and nobody does anything in 35th scale. So because nobody else makes aircraft in 35th scale. Now, there have been a couple of Fiesler Storches and that in there. But yeah, so it's a bit, and for the money, compared to the Revell kit is like 20 quid, the G6, and the retail on the border models one I think is about £70. So, whatever. So anyway, let's do the same thing now. So we look at this one. This is the TA152. Again, nice glossy box. And we look around the box, and we can see here we've got images of the model and everything, and got some wording around there. And then when we look on the other side of the box, you can see we've got images of the special stuff we're getting, and you can see there's the actual aircraft stripped down, so you can see there's a lot of stuff inside that you're never going to see once you close it up. We've got a beautifully detailed UMO 213E engine in there, which is really, really nice. You've got machine guns in the wings, and then you've got your beautifully detailed cockpit. One thing I will say while I think of it, if you have got this kit, you may look at the cockpit sprue and think, oh god, that's a bit awful. The actual side panels, the side consoles, they're moulded in this silver grey plastic, and it looks really, really soft. It looks awful, to be honest. Once you get a coat of grey primer on it, bang, the detail pops out. So because of the plastic they've used, it looks really soft, but believe me, it isn't. Okay, but you can see on here straight away we've got all these panel lines and all these joins. We've got all these removable panels, and it's not good. So what we'll do is, first of all, we'll go through this and have a look through the instructions, if I can get the box open. There we go. So we'll have a look through the instructions. Okay, so typical, let's bring you in a bit. Typical Zucchimure, they've got this sort of real period looking book with the, I'm guessing that's the Focke-Wulf insignia on there. But yeah, really, really nice. So we're going into the manual. Here we've got an image of a real aircraft parked up, and then you've got some wording in here. It's all in Japanese and in English. And then you've got, you know, German writing up here because it's a German aircraft, and it's almost like it's a proper manual for the rear aircraft. It's absolutely incredible, really, really good. And then we've got some descriptions here. We've just got the Japanese and the English now of the UMO 213, the Mark 108 cannon, then we've got the MiG 151s that go, well, the MG 151s that go in the wings, and then some important notes when assembling. You've got the tools and the cements you need. Paints here unusually just called out in Viejo, which is really unusual. I did notice Mitko says in his review of the 219, you know, it's unusual that they would use Viejo when most modelers don't like it. So anyway, but we've got the actual colour there in the Viejo colours, and then you've got the Model Air beneath it. So it's easy enough to do a cross-reference. Viejo actually do a cross-reference. Look up Viejo paints on the website, on the internet, and you'll see you can get a cross-reference on there. But all of the colours are called out, all of the major colours are called out in RLM anyway. So there we go. And I've just noticed here, this is a really nice touch. They have actually got corresponding Mr. Colour, so they're giving you Viejo and Mr. Colour callouts. I've never noticed that before. That's interesting. But these two down here, you've got clear red and clear blue, but I'm obviously going to use Tamiya, and then you've got corresponding C45 cell colour, so which is a corresponding Mr. Colour. They're not giving you Aqueous, it's only the C colours, but much of the time they actually are the same number. Not always, don't tell me on that, but sometimes they are the same number. But you've got all your RLM numbers there anyway. So basically going into the instructions, it starts off with the cockpit, and with, I'm going to bring you in a bit more actually, with Zucchimure, it's always very nice that they have all this extra detail. They're telling you all the little details, where the decals go, what colour to paint certain parts, you know, really, really nice. All the detail parts going in, showing you the actual position of the angles the part should be in, rather than just leaving you to guess. And then you've got the option here, which is a really nice touch. You've got a seat with moulded in belts, and you've got a seat without belts at all. Very nice option. I hope border models have done that with the Lancaster. And then we've got the forward bulkhead instrument panel. It's telling you all the decal numbers which go into the instrument panel, which is a really nice touch. I've actually got the Zucchimure dashboard interior set for this one, again made by Edward, showing you all the positions here. If any of you have built the Revell 1/32 scale Spitfire Mark II, you will know that, you know, stuff like this would be quite handy on that. So there we go. Again, we've got all the positioning here. So going through here again, we've got an oil tank going in, so nitrous oxide tank, sorry, going into the back of the cockpit, which you're not going to see. And then once the cockpit's done, you can see we've got all these drawings down here, we've got fuel tanks in the bottom. Once it's all done, an actual photograph of the actual built painted plastic parts, which is a really nice touch. So if you're a bit stuck for where something goes, or, you know, if this fuel tank should actually be buttoned up against that bulkhead, you can see in here it actually is. Really, really nice touch. And then we go into tail is part, so part 3, 2 is the motor. So we're building the motor up. Generally, I don't think we've got it with this one, but generally they actually give you pistons and conrods, so which is a nice touch. But again, you're building the motor up all in step by step, showing you where everything goes, giving you all the images of where everything is, and then at the end you've got photos of the engine half finished. Then you add some more details to it, and we've got more and more bits going on there, and then again photos. And then here we've got all the cockpit, the fuselage sides going together. We're adding lots of detail in here into the back areas. Here we go, straight away, equipment access hatch. That's got to be a nice fit or it's going to look awful. You've got all these oxygen tanks and air cylinders going in here, in the back, which you're never going to see. You've got another removable panel here. You've got your rudder in 2 halves going on there. And again, you're going to add this tail section onto the fuselage, and then they're showing you all here, all built up. Okay, but it's worth noting here, if you go to here, you've got forward fuselage halves, then you've got a lower fuselage section here. Okay, you've got a rear, the tail is in 2 halves, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seams to deal with, six seams to deal with what could have been made as 2 fuselage halves. So it's really unfortunate they've gone to all this trouble to get all this lovely internal rib detail. That's why they've made that as a separate part, and all this internal detail in here. But as a result, you've got a load of parts fitted to fit together. Machine guns are going to go together. They're going to be fitted into the main spar. Okay, and that's all nice. And then we've got the actual lower wing section. So you've got the 2 lower wing sections here, and then you've got a separate centre wing section. Then you've got the upper wing sections going on. Then you've got a forward leading edge wing section going on. It's just, and then you've got your ailerons are in 2 halves. Okay, and then it's showing you here, which is always a nice touch. They're showing you you can have dropped or raised flaps. They're telling you what to remove to have the flaps in the up position. I would personally have them down because I think it looks nicer. Then we've got the wing root fillets going in. Again, we've got another join. Okay, so that's going in there, and then it's telling us we're going to add our wing in there, and it's showing this all join up. So all these joins underneath, you've got the joins around the top, and then you're going to put the engine in. You've got this cockpit pressurization equipment that's going in there, and then you've got your separate engine cowlings going on. Okay, and then you've got your front section going on with your spindle shaft for the propeller and everything, and then you've got these radiators going in. You've got the option to have open or closed flaps here. You've got the nose ring going on with a separate vent on the top there, and then we've got the air intake on the side in 2 halves, and that's going to glue onto there. And then we're working on our tail planes and everything, and we've got all our tail wheel and everything going together. Undercarriage going in with the wheel halves, the plastic tyres. They're not flat spotted, but I'm not sure they would be flat spotted. They usually had very, very high pressure in them. And then you've got your cylinders going in. It's just showing you how the undercarriage goes in, so it's going to be nice and sturdy. It kind of goes in and clicks around. I've done a kit like that before. I think it was a Tamiya. But that's your actuators for your doors going in. You actually got brake lines and that for this one. You don't have to be adding any pipe to anything. And then it's telling you the angles and everything of your undercarriage going on, which is a really nice touch from the side and from the front. And then you've got your propeller spinner going on. Again, you've got the internal detail on the hub there, and then you're gluing the spinner over it. They're telling you not to cement it, it just pushes on. And then you've got to add some internal detail into your canopy here, which is all very nice. You wouldn't normally get that. And you've got some lovely dear little locking levers and mechanisms and stuff going in. Then you've got your gun sight and windshield assembly going in here. Open canopy, closed canopy. Obviously you're going to have them, you don't have the option to have it sliding. You actually glue it closed or glue it open. Oh no, it's saying here don't glue it down. So it looks like you do get the option of having it sliding. Position for cementing parts. The switching condition is reproduced at the installed position. I don't know what they're saying there. Maybe it just falls off or something. But anyway, flaps going on here. This is the drop flaps. And then you've got your gun covers going on here, which is another seam to worry about. And they've got all these little suede braces going on the bottom, but I don't think we get a bomb to go in there. And then we've got the steps going in the side here. We've got an antenna, Fug 16 Marin antenna that's going into the wing there. And you've got the Fug 25. And again, this is one of the beautiful things with Zuki-Miura. They tell you what everything is. So if you're a Luddite like I am, I don't know what all these loops are on antenna and stuff. But here it's telling you, so you know what they are. So you have to think of it as, it's more of a, you've got the decal callouts here and the colour callouts. There's only one decal option in this kit, although you do get 2 different camouflage schemes. So maybe the same plane was painted in different colours, or they just don't know. I think it does say here they don't actually know what colours it really was. But basically, you have to think of Zuki-Miura as, rather than just being a plastic model kit, it is more like an educational tool. As I say, you know, fitting fuel tanks that you're never going to see, fitting oxygen tanks and air cylinders that you're never going to see. You know, this nitrous tank going in. It's nice that it's all there. If you want to take your time and paint it all up, it's lovely. You know, you can have your engine exposed with all removable panels and stuff. But if you have removable panels, this ain't no Tamiya, you're going to get fit issues. So, you know, think of it like that. But now I want to show you something a little bit different, and it's a little bit better than an inbox review. Okay, so this is an inbox review of a half-built kit. So I can now talk about what's really, really good about this kit and what's really, really bad. So we'll get it on the bench and we'll have a look. Now you can see in here that I've got the model nearly finished. I've been working on this model on and off for about 3 or 4 years. So, but it's a beautiful model because it's such a beautiful airplane. But I want to talk about some of the experiences I've had and some of the issues you could avoid, because now I've built this kit Now I've just done an inbox review as I'd normally do, and now I'll be getting the sprues out and showing you everything and going through all the close-up detail, like looking at the wheel hubs and everything, you know, and saying, oh, look how lovely they are and everything, and all the undercarriage legs, and how there's no ejector pin marks in them, but there are. You know, here, where we go, where we are, there we go, you can see on the doors there, some lovely rivet detail on those. Another thing with Zucchini, they're not big on rivets. They're not like trumpeters where they go mad, but they have enough, you know, it's nice. But now this is the model, pretty much finished. It needs a coat of primer and obviously painting, but I'll go through some of the details with it, and I'll go through some of the problems. Now we can remove the prop here. I haven't pushed it right on because it is a tight fit on the actual on the shaft, and I don't want to snap the shaft. So once it's all finally built, painted and deckled, we can put the prop on. But you can see the prop with the spinner, you've got a seam around there which has got to be dealt with. They could have made it differently, but they didn't, so there we go. Now on here I've gone for the open cowl design, because open cowl flaps, because I think it looks great. Now this all fits on here, and none of it is glued yet, but inside here you've got the radiators, so we can see in there we've got the radiators. Now when you fit these radiators onto there, you can see on the front we've got these four, okay, need to make sure that they are vertical, 90 degrees and 180 degrees. Sorry, yeah, 180 degrees, 90 degrees to each other, so they're dead vertical and dead straight. Because if you look on the top here, you can see you've got this slot, and that slot, you can see, is off center. Okay, it's more this way. So you'll be tempted to sort of put it on with that slot, but you need it to be vertical. Otherwise, when you fit this on, because these radiators, if I can get these out, they're a lovely tight fit in there. I think the tape's helping to hold them in. Oh, come on, come out. There's no glue in there, honest. Jesus, they are tight. Right, I think the tape was holding them in. So basically, when you put these radiators on, the radiators go on, and they actually locate the... this goes on here. So those slots go in, the tangs on here go into these four slots in the back of the radiator, and then these four lugs on here go into, sorry, three lugs on there go into three slots moulded inside the cowl. So if you don't get those four dead right, when you put your cowl on, it's going to be off to one side or whatever. So make sure you get that, the front of that 90 degrees. It doesn't say anything about the alignment of that in the instructions, so make sure you get that. Also online, you can see that I've got a gap at the back here on these doors, and there's a gap at the back here. So obviously this is all coming off the engine. The engine is a bit too far forward. Having said that, the engine goes back in against here. This is where the bulkhead and the engine mounts meet, just there. And you can see it's all closed up. So I guess that's a problem that everyone would have. I don't know. But we could actually just push it all back and cut all the pins off and everything, and just glue it all closed, which I might do. Because these doors, although they fit well, they don't stay on very well. I guess a couple of magnets would sort that out. But there's the engine there, you can see. I haven't done any weathering on it. It's not even dulled down, because I don't even know if I'm going to show it, but it's just basically black and silver, so it's quite simple. But it goes together a dream. So let's have a look. You can see inside there as well, I got the HGW seat belts in the seat, which are my favourite seat belts. And then down inside there, I don't know if you're going to be able to see much in there, but you can see down inside the cockpit, if the camera would focus on the cockpit, if I put my hand there you go, you can see we've got the instrument panel there and all the little levers and everything. So yeah, it's really, really nice, and it's worth having that Zucchini cockpit set, because as I say, the plastic parts look quite soft, but they're not, but they are quite chunky. So there we go. So basically there's the aircraft there. So if we go into the manual, cockpit going together, absolutely no issues whatsoever, absolutely fine. Fitting all these fuel tanks underneath, if you're not going to see them, why have them? You haven't even got any way of showing them. So, you know, they're in there if you want to use them, but not. All the engines going together absolutely fine. Nothing that I remember caused me any issues there, although I did it about 3 or 4 years ago. All this going together here, all lovely. If you're not going to have anything exposed, don't bother painting it, because you're not going to see any of it. The only bit you are going to see is up through the undercarriage bay here, so remember that. That's all remains open. That doesn't get covered up. So you've got your machine gun, and you've got your shell ejectors there. So remember, they're going to be in there as well. So there we go. These shell ejectors here, they're a really weird fit. You've got on the back of the actual bulkhead here, there's two sort of L-shaped lugs. You can see one there, and it looks like they should fit in there, but they don't. They actually fit onto it. You can see they're giving you detailed view here of how they actually fit. And on mine, you can see that my ejection chute there isn't actually lining up with the hole in the fuselage. So that needs to be brought down. I've just broken it, and it's sitting in the right place now, so I can just drop some glue in there later on, and it'll stay where it is. There is a major story around those things in a minute. So basically going through here, as I say, you're putting all this gear that you're never going to see, but if you want to put it in there, put it in there. You've got these hatches. Now this hatch here is a lovely fit, okay? But if you are fairly new to the hobby and you want to build one of these, make sure that when you put it in place, hold it exactly where you want it, put a tiny drop of glue on the inside, and then don't move it, because if you move it, you'll get glue oozing out, and it'll come out and it'll look terrible. You won't get that nice even seam all around it, okay? Now it's sitting a little bit sub-flush. I need to just sand this panel just to get it flat, because it's sitting a little sub-flush, so it could have done with spacing out with a bit of 10 thou card perhaps around the edge. All this here going in the tail, which you may or may not want to add, and then you put in the tail halves together. Now at this stage, you may wish to take your fuselage front section and glue this section to this section and this section to this section, so that you've actually got two fuselage halves and you're working on one seam. Because I had a bit of an issue with this side, and I had to do a lot of sanding, because this little tail extension piece here, which they use to get the centre of gravity back, it didn't actually line up very well on this side. So, and you can see on here, I've sanded away the joints. I think there's supposed to be a seam there, which most German aircraft have, but you can see they've got these seams off centre, they're staggered. So you've actually got I think you can just about make it out there. We've got a staggered joint, okay? I don't know if you can see that, but the joint in here is not a level with the centre, okay? So there we go. Now we've got this belly piece going on here. You need Mr. Surfacer down here because there's some nasty gaps. I also noticed, I don't know if it's correct or not, but these panel lines don't line up on here. But it'd be a hell of a lot of work to get them to line up. And as it's underneath, I'm not going to worry about it too much. But, you know, they could do with some reworking. These seams here are a complete ass, okay? This section here fits into the lower section of the wing. I've had to put plastic card in there. You can see across the front edge, I've used 10 thou plastic card, and down the sides. And then I've had to do loads of sanding. One side was stepped up, one side was stepped down. And I've had to do loads of sanding just to blend it all in. And then I've had to add filler in here, you can see, to get this section of the wing, of the fuselage, to sit flush with this lower section of the wing. So that's been a complete and utter nightmare. But there we go. You can see also here we've got joints here, we've got that separate belly panel going in. That's all got to be sorted out with filler because there were steps in there. And then here you've got these wing sections going in, as we talked about before. Okay, so you've got this belly pan going in here, which you just talked about, which doesn't fit with anything, and then you've got these lower wing sections going on to these main spars, and then you've got the upper wing sections going on, and then you've got these forward wing sections here going in, which are here in the instructions, and they're a bit of a pain in the ass as well, because there's nothing to actually positively hold them in place. So what I've done is just glued them in, and then I put Mr. Surfacer along the seam, and then sanded and sanded and sanded, and then used Mr. Surfacer, or Mr. Cut 11 thinners to get the seam back into the Mr. Surfacer. So these gun hatches as well, they're a nightmare because I've still got some rubbing down to do there. They don't fit very well at all. And then it's telling you here to put the wing section into the fuselage and then fit the engine. Don't put the engine into your fuselage before you fit the wing. The reason being, you can see in here, I can't show you on the model, you've got these 4 legs on the back of the engine here. Let's go back to the engine, where there's pictures of the built-up engine. You can see here you've got these 4 legs with pins on that go into the bulkhead, but you've also got pins vertically down and they go into the top of the main spar. Getting that in together is just an absolute asshole, because you've got flanges in here which go in between, so that's stopping you from lifting the engine up, and then the bulkhead stopping you pushing the engine back. So you're trying to put pins in here and pins in here at the same time, and you can't move anything up or back. So put the engine in first and then drop the wing in on top of it. The other thing is that chute has to come through that triangular frame there, and when you're trying to put it in, obviously that chute which is in there has to come into that triangular frame, and you can't do it, you can't physically get it together. So put the engine into your fuselage first and then fit your wing on the bottom afterwards. This section here, There is another build I've seen, Primed Model Works. I think I've forgotten your name now, Simon, friend, but great channel. He's actually done a build of this, and he had a problem. He had to put plastic card in here. What I did with mine was I actually just wedged something in there to push that section out and then glued it. So this section of fuselage here, there's a massive gap here. Okay, there was a massive gap. And what he did was put plastic card in there to make the gap. What I did was put it down in and then wedge something in there to hold it tight to close that gap up, and then put some, I think I put some super glue on the inside, liquid cement on the outside. That closed the gap up. The other problem is if you have this all away from the wing, okay, and you don't have that all pushed out, when you come to fit your gun doors on, you've got a gap all down there as well. So it's best to put that in the wing, push all that out, glue it in, glue the doors on. Don't bother having the doors removable, it's a waste of time. Glue that all in and have that on, and all you've got to do then is go out Mr. Surfacer and a cotton swab, and I think it's going to look great under a coat of paint. But you can see there we've got a nice sort of seam, but you can see it's just needless, useless things. You don't need to do it in so many parts. And as I said, people moan and moan and moan about Kitty Hawk doing it. I've never heard anyone moan about Zucchini. But don't get me wrong, this is a beautiful model. The only other one out there is a Pacific Coast one, which I've never built, but I doubt if it's as nice as this. So there we go, and then sort of pretty much everything else is pretty much straightforward. These tail planes going in, they're telling you here to glue them, cement horizontally inside. And what they've done is they've made these tabs with angles on them, and they've got interlocking flanges so that when you push it all together, it all interlocks. And it is very strong. I mean, it is very strong indeed. And it does keep everything nice and square. But why? Why didn't they just do what Revell do with the B-52 and have two dabs that sit on top of each other? You know, that was a 1968 kit. They could have done that. Also, when you're building this, the slot in the fuselage is tiny in comparison to the actual tailplane. And you can see it's not your fault because it's one piece. The actual leg isn't on the lower section. So when you come to fit them, be prepared. It's very, very tight. There's a lot of plastic to be removed. And then also you get a pretty big seam in there. I'm not sure if there's supposed to be a seam in there, so that's why I haven't sanded it. I don't know whether to sand it and get it flat, or whether I'm going to use Mr. Surfacer and have the seam return. So onto the undercarriage. I've assembled the wheels, the tyres and everything. They go together lovely. So I've got yet to obviously to do the undercarriage, and basically there we go. And it's pretty much done. But it really is. It's a lovely model, but you've got all these silly bits and pieces. So basically my build sequence would be, not what I've done, but it's what I would be from experience, is glue the tail sections to the fuselage halves, then glue the fuselage halves together, and then you've only got this seam here to worry about. You'll have dealt with that when you assembled the tails. Put some plastic card on the back of that door just to bring it out because it is sub-flush. When you glue these on, glue them in nice and strong, but don't have glue oozing out, and all you've got to do then is brush some Mr. Surfacer into that seam. Sorry, I'm holding it the wrong way, aren't I? Brush some Mr. Surfacer into that seam, go over the cotton bud with some Mr. Cut leveling thinners on it, job done. Same under here, Mr. Cut leveling thinners, bit of sanding to be done there, but nothing much. Okay, so that would be my process there. Fit the engine into the fuselage before you even look at the wings. Get it in there nice and snug. You could even leave the glue out if you like, so that you have got a bit of manoeuvrability in case it needs to be wiggled about a bit to fit into the main spar. But basically you can get in there with sharp tools and stuff and pointy stuff and pull it all around and make it all fit. But it was the way they're suggested in the instructions, put the engine in after the wings are on, absolute nightmare. So there you go. Flaps, obviously I'm going for having them down. You have got some ejector pin marks in there which need to be got rid of, which I've done, so that's all good. And it's all on the underside anyway. There's a couple of ejector pin marks in here which need to be sanded out because, as I say, those wheel bays are actually very visible and they're going to look beautiful under a coat of paint. But you can see here we've got this grey plastic. It's weird. You can see in here the detail on there, those rivets and everything. It looks really soft, but once you paint it, it's amazing. It's incredible how the plastic makes everything look soft, but in reality it's very sharp. You can see the beautiful detail there on the area behind the pilot's seat. You can see it's really, really nice. Really nice. I love those belts. HGW belts are just awesome. So there we go. So that'll be my build sequence. Tail on, fuselage halves together, engine in, wings on, and then deal with all this. And don't forget, push these out, wedge it all out, put some glue on there, leave it overnight, let it all dry, put your gun doors in at the same time, and then you could just work on all this together and there's no filler in the top at all. It's just Mr. Surfacer. The only filler I've got is here, here, and here. Okay, these doors here, as I say, these doors are part of this central panel, not part of the wing, so you get a great big gap around them, and then you've also got to do sanding on them because they're not very level. So if I built another one, I think I would do a lot more dry fitting first, and then, you know, go from there. I may do another one because it is a beautiful aeroplane at the end of the day. We shall see. But there we go. So that's been my kind of in-box review, if you like, of this beautiful aircraft and the things to look for. Next thing I'm going to do now is add some plastic card to the back of here, add some plastic card to the back of here and here. Okay, get them all fitted together nicely, and then we'll go from there. So anyway, there we are. That is the Zukimura TA-152. You can see it's quite a big aircraft. I mean, I can hold it up to the camera, and you know, it is a very, very beautiful model. If you compare it to a Spitfire or a, you know, 109 in comparison, the wingspan's like tiny. You know, it's like here. It's beautiful. Really, really like it. One of my favourite World War II aircraft. So as I say, been building it over about 3 or 4 years. Basically because it just has you pulling your hair out and you just put it back in the box, and then I remember it and I get it back out again. I don't do any build work on this on camera because, you know, I have to do some modelling for myself sometimes and have some music on and not just be, you know, not just be talking to a camera all the time and having myself sat here in silence. So anyway, that's going to wrap that one up. I'll probably do a final reveal when I've actually finished it so you can all see what it looks like. But it is, it's beautiful. It's recommended. It's not a beginner's model. I wouldn't recommend any Zukimura kit for a beginner, but it's nice. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.